Good evening, bonsoir. Welcome to the Committee of the Whole, July 13th. Bienvenue à la réunion plénière le 13 juillet. Juillet plutôt, hein? Ms. Parker, do we have any declaration of conflict of interest?
No conflicts of interest declared.
OK. On a une présentation, programme d'accompagnement de la ville de Bathurst pour sa première politique culturelle par Joanne Lazario de AAPNB. Je vous laisse prendre la parole.
Bonsoir tout le monde, bonsoir Madame la mairesse,
Bonsoir.
bonsoir Mesdames et Messieurs les conseillers. C'est un plaisir d'être avec vous virtuellement ce soir. Donc je suis Johanna Lesiero de l'AAPNB. C'est un peu comme pratiquer des vocalises, mais ça veut dire Association acadienne des artistes professionnels du Nouveau-Brunswick. Puis je vais partager mon écran avec vous tout de suite pour vous montrer. C'est intéressant ça, je ne trouve plus ma présentation. On se pratique toute une après-midi, puis le jour J, on freeze. Je vais juste prendre une seconde pour refaire mon partage.
Aucun
Elle est
souci.
ici. Elle est ici. C'est parfait. Hop. Voilà. Donc, c'est ça, j'ai le plaisir de vous présenter ce soir la très belle démarche qu'a accomplie la ville de Bathurst en répondant à l'appel d'offres qu'on a lancé au mois de décembre pour accompagner des villes dans une première politique culturelle. Donc, c'est un programme que la APNB mène déjà depuis plusieurs années. Je vais aller plus court avec le nom de mon association parce que sinon, rien que ça va nous prendre les 15 minutes de la présentation. Puis c'est un programme qu'on mène en partenariat avec l'Association francophone des municipalités du Nouveau-Brunswick et puis qui est financé par le gouvernement du Nouveau-Brunswick et Patrimoine Canada. Qui on est, nous, la PNB? À la base, nous, on est une association qui travaille pour la reconnaissance des artistes professionnels au Nouveau-Brunswick, leurs droits, leurs intérêts, l'amélioration de leurs conditions de travail. On donne de la formation. Puis, on agit aussi sur la scène politique. Notre plus récente victoire, c'est l'adoption de la loi sur le statut de l'artiste. Je pense que vous en avez entendu parler. C'est le fruit de plus de 15 ans de travail et d'implication avec le ministère Tourisme et Culture et Patrimoine pour faire reconnaître la profession d'artiste professionnel, la faire encadrer par une loi, des contrats, des taux minimums de travail. Donc ça, c'est vraiment la mission de l'AAPNB. On a une autre grande mission qui est encadrée par un projet qui s'appelle la stratégie globale. Ça, c'est un projet qui est né suite aux États généraux de la culture en Acadie qui sont tenus de 2004 à 2009. Je suis obligée de vous faire un petit peu d'historique pour vous donner le contexte de mon projet à moi. Mais les États généraux se sont déroulés pour donner une feuille de route au développement des arts et de la culture en Acadie. Puis la stratégie globale, c'est le document que depuis la PNB porte grâce à ses 150 partenaires, puis qui continue à guider l'avenir des arts et de la culture en Acadie. De la stratégie globale est née la stratégie d'aménagement culturel du territoire. Puis depuis 2016, on continue à travailler sur le développement de l'écosystème culturel pour favoriser le rayonnement des artistes et des organismes culturels. Puis ça a donné le projet d'accompagnement des municipalités en aménagement culturel du territoire. Ce que ça veut dire, l'accompagnement en aménagement culturel du territoire, c'est de la même manière qu'on aménage des routes, qu'on réfléchit la structure de vos zones urbaines, de vos zones rurales, que vous pensez un territoire, la culture, pour être efficace, pour rayonner, pour aider au développement de vos communautés, doit être aménagée. C'est surtout le rôle, et c'est là où nous on intervient en disant une municipalité peut avoir ce rôle-là en se dotant notamment d'une politique culturelle. Donc depuis 2016, on a fièrement accompagné 16 municipalités au Nouveau-Brunswick. Aujourd'hui, on démarre la 5e cohorte, puis vous êtes 3 nouvelles municipalités dans cette cohorte, donc Bathurst, Edmundston et Île-de-la-Mecque. Cet accompagnement, c'est pour vous doter donc de votre première politique culturelle et du plan d'action qui va s'assurer que dans cette politique qui va comporter des objectifs, on va les faire suivre des actions dans le temps. C'est un accompagnement qui est personnalisé. C'est-à-dire qu'en général, j'arrive pas dans une communauté en disant j'ai une solution qui va pour tout le monde. Je l'adapte vraiment à la communauté, puis qui dure sur 2 ans. Puis en plus de cet accompagnement, il y a des formations qui sont offertes pendant toute la durée, pendant les 2 ans. Des formations qui ont attrait au développement culturel, médiation culturelle, tout ce qui va outiller votre municipalité pour vraiment se développer encore plus que ce qu'elle ne fait déjà. Donc vraiment donner les outils nécessaires pour la mise en œuvre. Et ensuite, vous rejoignez le réseau des villes qu'on a déjà accompagnées. Puis c'est un réseau qu'on essaye de vraiment garder actif. On essaye d'avoir des événements vraiment pour faire bénéficier les bonnes pratiques, l'expérience de chaque municipalité qui a déjà été accompagnée. Donc pourquoi se doter d'une politique culturelle? Pourquoi c'est nécessaire? Déjà, ça reconnaît que vous êtes prêt à devenir un acteur du développement culturel de votre région, puis que vous voulez une stratégie sur le long terme. Vous aviez déjà beaucoup de choses mises en place, mais là, vous voulez avoir l'outil qui marque cet engagement. Vous voulez vraiment que la municipalité soit le témoin de votre avenir culturel. Puis le plan d'action, qui est l'outil complémentaire, va vous aider aussi de la même manière que vous avez une planification stratégique. En fait, souvent, on essaye d'arrimer les deux outils. Puis c'est un outil c'est vraiment une démarche qui est participative, c'est-à-dire que je ne travaille pas toute seule avec une personne de la municipalité, c'est une démarche qui est citoyenne, puisqu'on met en place un comité plurisectoriel, on veut des citoyens autour de la table pour faire que ce soit une démarche participative, pour que vos citoyens soient liés aux décisions, à la culture. Puis vraiment, le dernier point et le plus important ici, l'idée de toute cette démarche, c'est pas qu'est-ce que la municipalité va faire pour les arts et la culture, mais c'est plutôt qu'est-ce que les arts et la culture vont faire pour votre communauté en termes de développement. Puis pourquoi c'est important? L'idée va être de vraiment se poser des questions sur qu'est-ce qu'on peut offrir de plus en termes de découverte culturelle à l'ensemble de nos citoyens. Qu'est-ce que ça peut faire pour nous aider sur le développement du sentiment d'appartenance? C'était des questions qu'on se posait beaucoup, notamment après 2023, la réforme de la gouvernance locale. On sait que la carte a changé pour beaucoup de municipalités. On améliore sensiblement la qualité de vie aussi quand on commence à se poser des questions autour de la culture, les arts, la culture. Inclusion, accessibilité, diversité, tout ça, ce sont vraiment des exemples de ce sur quoi cette politique culturelle a déjà agi dans les comités dans lesquels j'ai participé, puis dans les communautés autour de vous auxquelles j'ai travaillé. J'ai travaillé notamment dans la dernière cohorte, on a travaillé avec Belbé, juste à côté de chez vous. Donc les grandes étapes de cet accompagnement, on commence par la création de votre comité multisectoriel. On veut qu'il soit représentatif de votre communauté. Puis l'intérêt, c'est qu'on n'ait pas que des gens liés à la culture. Quand je dis que je veux qu'il soit représentatif de votre communauté, c'est-à-dire que j'ai besoin de personnes représentatives de la jeunesse, l'éducation, la santé, les bénévoles, le travail avec les aînés, toutes ces personnes-là qui sont fortes dans votre communauté, vos leaders communautaires, on les veut autour de la table parce qu'on veut que cette politique vous ressemble. On veut que ce soit la politique de Bathurst. Une fois que ce comité est constitué, on va se réunir à plusieurs reprises. Puis l'une des premières étapes, c'est constituer l'inventaire de votre municipalité, votre inventaire culturel. Donc on va regarder de quoi vous disposez. C'est qui vos artistes, vos événements clés, votre patrimoine, aussi bien les édifices, mais aussi votre patrimoine naturel, vos sentiers, tout ce qui fait votre fierté. Après ça, on a des grands thèmes qui vont apparaître. Au fur et à mesure de ces conversations, on va avoir des défis, on va avoir des choses sur lesquelles on sait qu'on peut capitaliser, qu'on peut se dire, OK, ça, on veut conserver, on veut continuer à agir là-dessus, on est déjà très fort. Donc, on a une première ébauche de politique culturelle, un squelette. Ce squelette, en général, on le fait en première présentation au conseil municipal pour voir si vous, en tant qu'élu, vous validez ces actions-là. Puis après ça, on part en consultation citoyenne. Donc vraiment, la démarche d'implication de votre communauté va être très importante dans ce processus-là. Après ça, la consultation citoyenne souvent nous apporte de nouvelles idées, éventuellement des ajustements, puis le retour du conseil municipal aussi. Donc il y a une étape de finalisation, de remodélisation du texte avant qu'il passe par adoption au conseil. Puis la dernière partie de l'accompagnement, c'est comment cette politique se transforme en plan d'action. Pendant les 2 ans, vous serez suivi. Donc, comme je vous le disais dans la toute première partie, il y a accès à des journées de formation. Ces formations, donc, c'est des ressources qualifiées sur des thématiques liées au développement culturel. Par le passé, on a abordé avec les cohortes précédentes la médiation culturelle, comment les bonnes pratiques quand on travaille avec des artistes en termes de développement de contrats, de tarification, vraiment des choses qui, pour vous qu'allez mettre en place après cette politique, vont vous servir concrètement. Il y a toute la partie réseautage. Donc, je vous parlais de 16 municipalités actuellement qui ont été accompagnées. Donc, on a travaillé, pour vous en donner que quelques-unes, parce que je commence à perdre un peu ma liste, mais on a travaillé avec Campbellton, Belle Bay, Caraquet, Tracadie. On a des événements où on essaye d'avoir les représentants de toutes ces municipalités, puis de travailler ensemble sur des idées communes, des échanges de bonnes pratiques, des thématiques sur le développement culturel. Puis vous allez aussi avoir des moments plus privilégiés avec les 2 autres municipalités de la cohorte, qui sont Île-de-la-Mecque et Edmundston, pareil pour faire des projets en commun. Et c'est la fin de ma présentation et le temps des questions pour vous.
Merci, Johanna. Est-ce qu'on a des questions? Député Maire Willett.
Merci, Mme la mairesse. Mes questions, ce serait, ça fait que vous faites ça pour tout le monde, pas juste pour les artistes professionnels.
Non.
OK. Parce qu'on est en train de travailler sur un projet pour un centre d'art et culture ici dans la ville. Puis je sais qu'à Bellevue, ils en ont un aussi, un centre d'art et culture. C'est pour ça que je me demandais si c'était juste pour les professionnels ou pour tous les artistes de la région.
Ça va être pour la reconnaissance de tous vos artistes, puis ça, c'est vraiment très important. Quand on travaillait avec Belle Bay, on était vraiment sur vos artistes en voie de développement, vos artistes qui s'ignorent, tout ça, on veut les valoriser aussi. C'est vraiment une démarche qui, je sais que nous, notre association s'appelle l'Association acadienne des artistes professionnels, mais mon projet à moi est un peu à part, parce que je suis vraiment dans ce côté faire grandir les communautés, puis c'est la manière dont votre communauté veut mettre en valeur ces artistes. Puis vous voulez mettre en valeur tous vos artistes.
OK. Merci beaucoup.
Est-ce qu'on a d'autres questions? Non? Moi, j'aimerais vous remercier. On est super contents. Ça fait partie de notre plan stratégique. Et quand on avait discuté avec l'AFMNB, l'Association francophone des municipalités, on a vu qu'un 5e cohorte était sorti. On était très impliqués et on s'est dit, c'est le temps pour nous. Vous allez vous déplacer dans notre coin, j'ai l'impression.
Oui, ça c'est prévu à la rentrée, dès que le comité va être en place, les rencontres ne seront plus virtuelles.
Oui.
Je vous le promets, je vais venir vous voir.
Parfait, mais au plaisir de se rencontrer en personne. Et
oui,
merci pour votre présentation ce soir.
Écoutez, n'hésitez pas, si vous avez d'autres questions qui viennent par la suite, ça me fera vraiment plaisir de vous répondre.
Merci beaucoup.
Merci pour votre
soirée. Deuxième présentation, préparation des rues par le directeur principal et de l'ingénierie et des infrastructures. So, we are going to be talking about a very important topic, our street repairs by our Senior Director in Engineer and Infrastructure, Mr. Abernathy. I'm going to give you the podium.
All right, thank you, Your Worship. Good evening, everyone. Is this just not working for me? Okay, no, there it comes. All right. All right, so I figured I'd start off today just by quickly going over our maintenance plan, because the point of tonight's presentation is mostly what our next 5 years are going to look like as far as road rebuilds are concerned. But I just wanted to start off quickly by quickly describing what our our recurring maintenance program is. So essentially our patching program. Every year we request a certain amount of money to go towards purchasing asphalt for our patching crews to go out there and patch the roads. And every year we put together a schedule for them to go ahead and do so. And so this is this year's schedule. This was submitted quite a while ago, so it usually is a bit of a live document, is updated as we go. But it's just to give everybody an idea of the sequence that we complete things every year as far as patching is done. So as you can see right now, if we're into the third week of July, we should be in the Rough Waters and Bridge Street area. I'm not sure if that's where we are or not. I haven't gone out and checked. I just got back from vacation, but there may be a new document. But if anybody out there is wondering when are they going to be coming into my area or whatnot, they can take a look at this plan in the presentation and see where they land. It's not ideal here for the for the setup, but there, that's a little bit better. And so in the coming weeks, if we look at where we are right now, which is the third week of July, we're looking at Rough Waters, Bridge Street, St. Anne Street. That's the upper section. Middle River, Town and South Selective, so that would be all of the side streets, the subdivisions and whatnot. Kent Subdivision, West Selective, East Selective, Industrial Park, Casey Irving, and critical areas as needed. So essentially they've gotten all of the main drags done so far, and they're moving into the subdivisions. So what we do with this money, there's approximately $220,000 allocated this year. There's about $80,000 which is allocated to this patching program, and there's about $140,000 that's allocated for larger spot repairs. So those would be what we're planning on doing this year. Is there's a really bad section in the industrial park on Industrial Drive, which is completely failed, and it's quite dangerous there. So we're going to be looking to put some money in there and patch that up. So that's what that $140,000 is used for, is if there's major areas that need to be patched up during the year. So that's just a quick overview. Any questions on the patching program before I move into the presentation?
No questions.
Okay, we can come back to it in the end as well if we need to. All right. So for my presentation tonight, you'll see there's a couple of slides that are rehashed from my last presentation that I did, which was a little bit more of a discussion of how we select the streets. And then in this presentation, we're going to go over a little bit more of what actual streets we have selected for the next 5 years. They're not selected in the sense that they're going to be done. They're selected in the sense that they're the ones that we're most likely going to be presenting to you every year in the budget for you to vote on whether or not we go ahead with those projects. But every year those come to you for a vote. So why street repair prioritization matters. Obviously, we have a very large network of streets. There's over 360 lane kilometers of street to do. And we have limited budgets to do so. So we have aging infrastructure in need of strategic planning and long-term sustainability. So both road infrastructure, and we talk about transportation, we're not only talking about vehicle transportation, we're also talking about pedestrian, sidewalks fit into that as well. Obviously, plenty of kilometers of sidewalk in the city as well that need to be repaired. And also utility needs to come into that as well, which is underneath the road, so it needs to be maximized in with road rebuilding.
Mr. Abernathy, before you move forward, Councillor Burnett, you had a question?
Yes, on the patching side, I missed it when you moved to this side.
Okay.
You asked for questions, did you, or you want to
Yes.
wait till the end?
Yeah, we could go for some now.
On
Yeah.
the patching, yeah.
Like last year or year before, you went down Bayshore, and they did a great job up to a point.
Mm-hmm.
And now Bayshore is starting to fall away in the sides.
Mm-hmm.
You know, do you call that patching, or do you call that like rebuild or continuation of what you had started there in Bayshore 2 years ago? Because you see now when you drive down there that the sides of the road are gone in places.
Yeah, so what we had done there over the last 2 years was really addressing the areas, the real critical areas where that was happening. We were losing the shoulder of the road. The last few times I've been down there, what we had done looked great. Where we hadn't done it sort of looked like what it always looked like. It's not really in great shape. It's not really in terrible shape, but it is slightly narrower than what we had done. Right now, there's no plan to go back down there and continue. We spent quite a bit of money down there doing the critical areas and raising the road where it needed to be raised because the water was coming up over the road. So as of right now, there's no plan to spend any more of those funds down there.
So if the road washes away into the center, you're going to fix it back?
Of course, yes, of course. Yeah. That would be part of the patching program. Yeah.
That would be part of the patching program?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
What we had done there before was not, though. That was the major works that I was talking about, that 140,000. We had allocated extra money that year to raise that up and bring it. That was not just the patching program. That was a major.
Yeah, you had to raise it because it was being covered in water from time to time.
Yeah. So I think we've pretty much handled that situation. I don't think that there's much water getting on the road anymore, but you're right. There is some areas along the side that do need some patching from time to time.
So that would be this year?
I
didn't see it there. That's why I asked. I didn't see it there.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the guys will make it down there. We can't do the entire city every year either, right?
No,
so it's kind of done in sections, and they'll address the worst spots first. Yeah.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
All right, you're welcome.
All right. So when we're building our list of priorities, we're obviously looking at condition of the street, we're looking at traffic volumes, and we're looking at special conditions. So we plug all that information into a spreadsheet. We assign a score for each, and then we come out with a score. And so that's how we sort of assemble our first a list, and then we go through and we break it down as far as, okay, are there utilities, are there no utilities that need to be fixed, and we really take the don't pave then dig mindset to heart here. I mean, we're not going to go and repave a street that needs a utility rebuild in a couple of years. So we're really trying to prioritize everything and plan it all together so that we're rebuilding those utilities at the same time as we're doing the street when they are in dire need. So we're also looking at regional equity when we're putting these together. So I put this little map together from the time that I started in 2008, the number of meters that we've done in each kind of quadrant of the city. In the northwest, we've done 7,600 meters, and in the St. Peter Avenue and sort of southwest area, we've done 5,000 meters. The downtown and South Bathurst area, we've done 5,200 meters, and over in East Bathurst, we've done 11,000 meters over in East Bathurst. There's a couple of provincially designated highways over there, which were pretty major projects, so there's quite a bit of paving that was done over in that area. So it's just to illustrate the amount of we're spreading it around a little bit as best we can. So the asset management realities, I brought this slide up last presentation as well. When we take that spreadsheet that we put all of the streets on, and we put our rebuild, our sort of average rebuild per meter cost on there, and we extrapolate that forward, we look at a total rebuild cost for all the streets in the city of $638 million in today's dollars. And so if the city were to invest $638 million per year, it would take us 100 years to rebuild all of our streets. And at the current rate right now, at our investment is about 1.86 million. We're looking at about 368 years to repair all of our streets. So obviously, we need to start investing more in our utility and road repairs, or else we're headed for a bad situation here. So, a little precursor to what we do have coming. I've split it up into three separate 5-year plans. So you'll see at the top there's 2027 to 2031. And so the first of the three types of projects that we have are the provincially designated highway projects. These are always a big topic of contention because people don't quite understand who's responsible for them. So I'll try and clear that up right now. Essentially, a provincially designated highway is any major arterial in the city that is that is designated a provincial municipal highway. So there's a list of them, which is St. Peter Avenue, Bridge Street, Miramichi Avenue, a large section of King Avenue, the major arteries, Sunset, Vanier. These are all provincial highways, so provincially designated highways within the municipality. So the provincial government is responsible for repairing these streets, and the way they go about getting them done is they ask municipalities for a 3-year plan of what we would like to get done, and then they distribute a very small budget across the entire province to all municipalities. And so for the next, I'm sorry, I'll continue. In that budget, there is a certain amount that's allocated for only the road repairs. So anything else that has to get done, like sidewalks or any utility work or any lawn work or anything like that, all has to be covered by the municipality. And so The municipality covers 21% of the total project cost, plus 100% of all ineligible items, so that's sidewalks and anything like that. And so, at the end of the day, whether or not St. Peter Avenue gets paved, or Sunset gets paved, or Vanier gets paved, is really in the hands of the provincial government, unless the city wants to do that work for the province, right? So at the end of the day, we could allocate our road rebuilding funds to doing it at 100% our cost, or we could ask the province to do it, since it is their responsibility, and they would pay 78% of the cost. However, like I said, they only have a small budget to allocate to the whole province, so it is a very long process to get those streets done. So these are those provincially designated highways, and this is our current 5-year plan. Right now, is that color popping up for you guys?
Yep.
Green, and okay, it's not really popping up for me here, but you'll see in 2027, 2028, and 2029, we have Harborview Boulevard as actually approved by the provincial government to be completed. In 2027, we have $110,000 to do the design phase of the project. In 2028, we have $2.3 million to do the southbound lanes, which are the lanes closest to the federal building. And then in 2029, we have $3.5 million to do the northbound lanes, which is the lanes closest to the water. And so again, the province only requests 3-year plans, but we typically work in 5-year plans. So our 5-year plan is in 2030 to request St. Peter Avenue, the last section between Chaleur Street and the Veterans Bridge that hasn't been done yet. And then in 2031, we would like to continue the Miramichi Avenue project, which is from Mont Carmel to Foley. So it would be kind of phase 2 of Miramichi Avenue, which is going on right now.
Mr. Abernathy, can I ask, I thought that the $110,000 that we received was for 2026, and that next year in 2027, we would start one side of Harborview. We're not?
No, I believe it's 2027. Oh, geez.
I thought it was 2020.
You might be right, yeah.
Yes. I hope so, because this is what I've been telling everybody.
Oh, it's very possible.
Based on the documentation, Mr. Pettigrew will check into it.
You don't mind pulling that up. If that is the case, then everything shifts over by 1 year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If not, I've been telling people the wrong information.
You probably are right, because I do remember having conversations now about having to decide what our lane configuration is going to be by October, because the design is going to get started. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
For 2028,
I think you're
first
right,
phase
yeah.
by the federal building.
I have those numbers on the top shifted over too much, yeah.
Okay. There is a question by Councillor Burnett while Mr. Pettigrew is looking.
Thank you. Well, I thought so too with our review, we starting right away. But the other question I have is, the province also takes care of the bypass that goes around the city, and boy, they're doing a lot of paving up there. Does that take away from our
No.
provincially designated roads in the city?
No.
Because right now, they've got her shut down for miles.
No, they've got separate budgets for that. So there's actually a provincially designated highway budget, which is money allocated just for this program. And what you're talking about there is their general highway maintenance.
And last year, they paved up by the airport, which is now city property, or city, part of the city. So again, that's not designated highway, that's part of another program.
It is a designated highway up until the old city limits.
Yes?
You'll notice there's a section where they didn't do there.
Yeah.
That is our provincially designated highway, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did a nice job up there last year.
Yeah, it would have been very nice if they would
Yeah,
have
thank
connected
you.
that to the highway.
Just as a reminder, Mr. Abernathy, since we're looking, we can remind everybody that the new city limits that joined the city of Bathurst is still managed, and the roads are still being done by the provincial government, because they do keep 41 cents of the tax dollars.
Correct, yeah. We don't do any road work, any road maintenance. We don't do any street plowing, no drainage work. We don't do anything out there except a little bit of signage work. And we handle paying the power bill for the streetlights. That's pretty much it. Yeah.
Okay. You're welcome. All right. Do we have any other questions? Deputy Mayor Willett?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yeah, because it would be pretty bad if we'd only get $110,000 for 2027 for a gas tax. So.
Oh, it's not. This isn't gas tax though.
No.
No, this is provincially designated highway. So you're talking about the CCBF fund. So that's a separate fund. So we receive I think it's $980,000 a year for that. Regardless, we do have a plan for it, and we submit that every year. But that's more of a formality. The amount of money that we get for CCBF is the same every year, no matter what we're doing. Yeah.
Okay, I was kind of worried there, and because I think waiting 5 years to keep on Miramichi Avenue would be kind of long, because the people I talk to are hoping to see when we do start a street that we finish it,
For sure.
so that we're not going one piece at a time all the time, that we actually start a project and finish it. So
Yep.
I know that the province is keen on getting the boulevard done, and so is probably 14,000 people that live in Bathurst also. But, you know, I'd like to, when we start a job like we did this year, well, what we're doing with Ryan Road, that is gonna be completed, and we don't have to go back there, that's great. The other thing I got is just, you know, like I would have liked to have our finance people do the presentation before, and to see if we can get any more money to keep on going after we do the finish Ryan Road and the industrial park, because it would be nice to see some other stuff. And I also have the sidewalk bridge that I'm still harping about on Vanier, that I don't know if you got an update for us today or not.
Status quo is still there. We're still waiting on CN and the province. Yeah.
We're still waiting on them.
Yeah.
So it gives me an argument for our paving plant, that if we'd have our own paving plant, we could be doing a lot more for a lot less. So hopefully we can look at that in the future. And the other thing that I've noticed too is that they painted the lines in the city, but the yellow lines seem to be turning almost brown. So is there a problem with that, or is it the paint that they're using, or?
That's a good question. I haven't noticed that. I'll take a look.
If you notice.
Did you notice any specific areas, or?
Well, just leaving town from Douglas to the bridge, you'll see it's turning to brown. So I don't know if they did it in the rain or what happened.
Well, let's take a look.
I'll take a look as well. I haven't noticed it.
Yeah.
I'm sure not turning color line. Just joking.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, Mr. Pettigrew?
I missed the first part because I was looking for the dates here. Was it center line marking? Or,
Center line
so
marking,
we'll check
yeah.
with the
Yeah,
two
we'll check that
different
for
group
sure.
and the two different groups that
Okay.
that do the painting.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank
Just-
you. That's
yeah.
it for now for me.
Just to confirm that in the plan for Harborview southbound, 400 meters is 2728, and northbound is 2829.
Okay.
So it is
That's not the proper date.
28, 29?
So it depends on, they have 2829 here as the breakdown.
For the second part. The first part
The
is
first
27,
27,
28. Okay. Well, we'll need to, we'll just make sure we
But they're different
reconfirm.
years as their fiscal years, right? So it's their
Exactly.
That's
fiscal
right,
years.
yeah. Okay. That might be where the confusion came from.
Yeah.
You'll also notice on the slide here, the green ones are fully approved. Those are a full go. The red ones are not. Right? Those have not been approved yet. They're fairly large sums. There is a significant amount of non-eligible items in there, which we'll have to pay 100% on as well. So it's not that large a sum, but at the end of the day, they are big projects for provincially designated highway projects, just because we do have a pretty severe need with the condition of Miramichi Avenue and St. Peter Avenue as well to get those done. So we're going to go ahead and give it a try. We don't know what we'll get, but we'll see what we do get. So that is it for provincially designated highways. So that's kind of the first tier of projects, usually the larger paving projects that we have in the city. Now for the smaller ones, the local road paving projects. So these are projects later, which are going on right now on Ryan Road, like we mentioned earlier, Daniel Drive we did this year as well. And so this is the plan for the next number of years. So these are funded 100% by cash by council. So we'll bring a list of streets to council for approval. And typically, you guys have allocated about $500,000 a year. So if you wish to continue to do that, we can continue with this plan. If that's pulled back, obviously we would have to pull this back. But if we want to allocate more, we could expand this plan a little bit. And so, like I said, for this year, we do have Ryan Road on the go right now, and we've completed Daniel Drive. For next year, we're looking at Sunset Extension between Sunset and Cité de l'Amitié, Squire Green between the train tracks and the turn at the bottom of the hill there. And then we're looking at doing a section of Johnson, Centennial, and Highland to make the access to the school a little bit better. A section on Coffin Crescent, Reardon Drive, Foley, Major, Tondreau, St. Anne, the list goes on. So All of these are in a dire need of repair, so they could be swapped around however council pleases. This is kind of the order that we decided on for now, but we're going to bring that to you guys for discussion for sure during budget time anyway.
So since we're going into budget season in late August, September, Mr. Abbott, I think because all of this road work that's being done is being done by the staff, right? So they're using recycled pave or whatever, purchase pave, and they do the work. So let's say for next year, we say we want to increase that budget to $1 million as opposed to 500,000. Would you have the manpower to be able to get that done?
No.
See,
We would be able to contract out the work though. Like there is a portion that we could contract out. It possibly would be a little bit more expensive by the meter. But you know, whatever money you're willing to allocate to the paving project, we would certainly put down on the roads. It just might be a little bit more expensive per meter since it would have to be contracted out.
yeah, because when we do it ourselves, we get a lot more road done for $1 as opposed to when you contract it out.
Yeah.
Because if we were to give $500,000, we'd probably only get maybe Sunset for 500. You almost double the price, right, when we contract it out?
I'd have to do the numbers on
Okay.
what the
All
for
right.
that specific project, but double is probably not far off. But
Yeah.
I'd have to look at the numbers to you know what it actually entails in the project
All right.
to do it. Yeah.
Well, good to know. It's just food for thought
Yep.
for council. Thank you.
Okay, so that's it for local paving. If anybody, if anyone cares to screenshot that on the internet, it's there for them. I don't really have a summary page because everything's going to be on Facebook anyway, so they're there for everybody else. So utility rebuilds. So this is a bit of an interesting one. You'll notice everything is red there. There's nothing green. And the reason for that is a few years ago when we did request a kind of a preset utility rate increase per year because we wanted to take 2.5% of that and put it into our utility reserves. These are the projects that we wanted to fund with that utility reserve. And so you'll notice there's nothing in 2027 because we only put 185,000 in that reserve, and that's not enough to complete any of these projects. 2027 we'll add another, maybe 190 or 200,000 to that budget, and now we're starting to have a reasonable amount of money where we can put towards a project. That project would be in 2028, and this would be what we propose going forward, of course, up to council at budget time, but we'd be looking at Melanson, Notre Dame, Main Street, Mont Carmel, Levesque, and Eaton Court. And so the reason these projects are in the red is because these are going to rely on federal and provincial funding. So this model only works if we only have to pay 33% of these projects, and that's going to rely on major infrastructure funding, like in 2017 they came out with the CWWF funding. They're building small community fund, building Canada Fund, all these different funds. These are the ones that we're going to need to tap into to complete these projects if we want to get started in 2028. If there isn't money available in those projects, then obviously this will all have to get pushed until there is a sufficient amount of money in the utility reserve to be able to complete these projects with the cash that we have on hand. But that'll take a number of years to move forward. So that's our current plan right now. We're certainly going to be pressing the government to try and get some funding for that and allocate our whatever funding we have to it to get those projects done.
So again, Mr. Abernathy, again for clarification, since this presentation is so important, we cannot just take operational money and put it towards utility. Utility is what the citizens pay for utility service, like what I pay my $73 or $72 and some odd cents a month. That's what it covers. And we do only have a bit of a reserve, as you mentioned. And we normally have to cover 32%, so we're not even close. Because we do know that Melanson absolutely needs to get done. There are streets there that are in dire strait in Melanson, and that's why it's the #1 priority on the list. But I know that, when we increased last year the 2.5%, I received a lot of people upset. But we have, look, just there, and these are just the small amounts, how many millions of dollars of infrastructure for utility rebuild that we need to do. And overall, as you mentioned a while ago, with your bigger number at 638 million, did that include utility as well?
Yeah.
It did. So out of just curiosity, what's your percentage of the 638 million that would have to be utilities?
It's about 55, 45, so 55% utility and 45.
55, so we're looking at over $350,000 just in utility rebuild.
Millions.
Sorry, $350 million in utility rebuild, and that's the only place where we can get the money for it.
That's right.
Or we go to the capital borrowing board, but we have to pay it with the money that we receive from utilities to pay the capital borrowing board.
That's right.
Okay, all right.
So in this instance, we actually, I believe we earn interest on this money, right? That's, that we put in the reserves. So
Yes.
there's a benefit there. Instead of paying interest when we borrow, we're actually making interest while we're allocating funds to use at a later date. So there's an advantage there as well. And so, it also doesn't tie our hands if we are, whenever we do come due for a wastewater treatment plant upgrade or a water treatment plant upgrade or anything like that, we have that debt capacity to be able to borrow for those major projects, right? Instead of having to use that on a regular, recurring street rebuild, which we know we have to rebuild streets, we know we have to rebuild all of our utility infrastructure, we should be budgeting accordingly for that, and that's what this represents, yeah.
Councillor Burnett?
Thanks, Madam Mayor. Was mentioned earlier about finishing projects, and we did Brito subdivision, for example, but we didn't do two of the side streets in Brito subdivision, and they're in pretty bad shape. Is there any of this that can be switched around or go back in and finish that subdivision? So, because they're all in need, no doubt about it, but when you start a project and then you leave a section of it out, it leaves a poor taste in the citizens that live on that street that was left out.
It's got to go somewhere. That's a matter of discussion at the council table. If you wish to allocate funds there, we certainly can. We allocated $4.3 million, I think, on Brito. All of those people do have the benefit of now being able to drive Brito at least. Yeah. Whereas the folks in Melanson subdivision have to drive.
So here we are moving over to another section, which is just as bad, but to justify not finishing is a tough sell.
Yeah, we look at the main entries that everybody uses. They're almost like the kind of mini arterials to entries to subdivisions. We look at those, doing those first, and then moving on to the local streets. But if council wishes us to reevaluate that and just start doing entire subdivisions at once, we can certainly do that.
Okay. Thank you. Very difficult. Very difficult.
Yeah. Like I said, it's difficult just to answer your question on that, right? I mean, the logic behind it is it's kind of political. It's kind of engineering related. It's a bit of a mix, so it's a little tricky. Yeah.
And you need funds.
Thank you.
And we need funds. Yeah. Exactly. Right on. So the key takeaways. No more questions on that list. I hope I didn't skip through that too quickly there on that last one, but obviously some important streets to do there. Key takeaways, the repairs are data-driven and resource-limited. We're coordinating utility repairs with road rebuilds, and there's going to need to be a massive influx of municipal, provincial, and federal money to get moving on achieving our goals here for a sustainable infrastructure future. So that's all I have for today. If there's any more questions.
Any other questions for Mr. Abernathy? Councillor Hundas?
Thank you, Your Worship. Can you go back a couple of slides?
Which one, Rick?
The one for the paving that we're going to do in-house. Yeah. I just want to know how these streets are taken, because I've been here since 2016, and some of these have been there since then.
Yep.
So how do we justify which goes first and what takes priority?
We bring the list to council every year, but it's a mix of what I mentioned earlier there of traffic conditions, safety concerns. There's some added factors like schools, so that's why Sunset's on there. Safety concerns for, like I said, the industrial drive, which we're doing this year, that's a pretty major safety concern, so that's the one we're...
These aren't written in stone, though. We can...
Certainly not, no.
We can move things around if we feel like...
For sure. The only reason these are all in green is because council has typically allocated this money. It's cash. It's in your hands. If you decide to do them, we'll do them. If you decide not to, we won't. If you want to add, we can add. It's all cash. It's not reliant on the government at all. The only reason why I had the green versus red is because the red ones are heavily reliant on government funding, right?
So these are just resurfacing, basically.
Yeah, pulverize and pave. Yeah. We're adding geogrid under our pave now as well. We're thinking of getting more years of structure out of that as well. We think it's helping.
Just a comment too. Just hats off to your staff because they're doing an amazing job I know that Ryan Road will be completed. I understand what Councillor Burnett is saying about Hinton Crescent is off of Burrito, but since 2016, we've been promising Milan subdivision that something would be done. I think that one's in dire need. It's really, really needs to be done. So I'm hoping we don't kind of shy away from leaving that one there and keep going on that. So these things here, I think we can work on. I think there's some roads on there that's been there since 2016, so they haven't been done. I think there's a few that may be able to be juggled around, but that's just my opinion.
For sure. Yep,
Yeah.
we're open to that.
Okay.
Good thing is, Councillor Hondas, is that financially we're in a better shape. 2016 to 2021, we had no money. So it stayed there and it didn't go anywhere because there was no money put into doing local road repairs. It's really been the last 5 years that we've actually started with only about 250, and we doubled that, if I'm not mistaken, right, Mr. Abernathy?
That's right. 500,000 was almost half of our entire capital budget at one point, right? So we are bumping that up now because of the debt reduction plan that we're working on. And so we're certainly happy to get it. I don't see any reason why in the next number of years we'd be able to up this budget. And like I said, maybe manpower-wise might be a little tricky for us, but we can certainly contract out some of this work as well. That's something we can do.
Okay.
Another question about it for me is just, I think there's some roads on there that should take precedence over others. That's the only thing I'm trying to say.
For sure.
Okay, all right. Well, that's a discussion that we can have. We can have a meeting. So,
Yep.
Deputy Mayor Willett?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yeah, the only thing I wanted to add to that, it's pretty hard not to, is to the amount of work that our employees have been doing, and especially the quality of work that's been done. So for the past 5 years, we've just been improving and improving the amount of work and the quality of the work that's been going on. So kudos for that. And as far as we don't have the manpower, maybe we can find some. So instead of contracting out at double the price, maybe it's time to look at that also. So
Something to discuss.
thank you.
Thank you very much, Abernathy, and I agree, the staff is doing a wonderful job. So the work that they have been doing, I'm getting nothing but great compliments, so.
Yeah, I took a drive on Ryan Road this morning, and it's pretty nice.
Yeah, and it's so nice because I say, oh, it's the city staff that did that
Yeah.
road. Oh, it's the city staff that did that road. Thank you.
Right on.
Okay, so municipal bylaw, water and sewer bylaw amendment. Ms. Parker, do I go to you, or, oh, Mr. Abernathy again?
Thank you, Worship. So we're doing a little bit of an informal introduction for this this bylaw amendment, just to kind of get the ball rolling and to get the idea in your minds of where we're heading with things, because there's certainly going to be a little bit of chatter about it. I mentioned earlier about when we went from a fully metered system to a flat rate system for our residential customers, and when we did make that switch, we kept our non-residential, so our commercial users as metered. So we still have, it's somewhere in the neighborhood of 400 or 410 commercial metered services out there, okay? And everybody else is on the residential flat rate. So when we did do that, we had some multi-unit residential buildings whose bills obviously went up. They have a lot of units. They were on a meter before. We switched them to the flat rate. We do offer a reduced rate for a larger number of units. So the more units you have, the less rate you pay. So those large residential buildings did get switched over to the rate. But there was a gap, and the gap is the multi-use buildings. So the commercial / residential buildings. So buildings that have, say, commercial on the bottom floor and residential above. So they were not addressed in that bylaw at the time, and so what we're looking to do with this amendment is to address that gap and to bring everybody on board on the same playing field. So it's essentially what's happening right now is those buildings are paying a metered rate, which is significantly lower than what they would be paying if the residential units were charged per the residential rates. And so I'll just read through, any questions so far on that?
No.
Okay, right on. So I'll just read through what we're proposing here. So this is all new. There's no, this isn't any changes to the existing bylaw. This is an addition to the existing bylaw. So that's why you see there aren't any section numbers or anything like that yet, because this will be planted into the bylaw eventually for you guys to discuss and go through the reading process and everything and then vote on it. So that's really today is just to give you a heads up, have an open discussion on what our thoughts are, and we'll go from there. So the proposed amendment to bylaw 2024-01 for multi-use buildings. So 2024-01 is the water and sewer bylaw, which has all of our rate provisions in it. So section 1, the application, this section applies to all multi-use properties containing both commercial and residential units within a single building structure. Section 2, separation of interior plumbing. To ensure accurate measurement and billing of water and sewer usage, the property owner of multi-use buildings must separate the interior water distribution plumbing serving the commercial units from the plumbing serving the residential units. Section 3, metering of commercial units. Following the separation of plumbing as required in Section 2, all water supply lines servicing commercial units within the multi-use building shall be equipped with a city-approved water meter. Commercial units will be strictly metered and billed in accordance with the commercial rates established in this bylaw. Owners may request a single meter for all units or individually meter each unit. Service charges shall apply to each meter. Flat rate for residential units. So water supply line servicing the residential units within the multi-use building shall not be metered. Residential units will be assessed and billed exclusively on the flat rate basis in accordance with the residential rates established in this bylaw. And then the last one is I just want to keep you in mind, for this year, we're going to work on something moving forward for existing clients. We're not going to expect everybody to modify all their plumbing inside of their buildings or whatnot. We're going to work on a way to figure that out and most likely cover the cost of something like that. But the owner responsibility and compliance. So the property owner shall be solely responsible for all costs and works associated with designing, installing, or modifying the interior plumbing to achieve the necessary separation. Failure to separate the interior plumbing to the satisfaction of the city will result in the continued billing of the metered rate in addition to the flat residential rate for each unit. So that clause would mostly apply to somebody who's building a new building. They need to be aware that if they don't separate their plumbing during their design and construction process, that they will be required to modify that in the future and separate it so that we can bill separate for the commercial units and the residential units.
Okay, because we do have, let's say on Main Street and even on King Avenue, we have units that you have the business at the bottom and 2 apartments upstairs.
Right.
So you are going to work with them. It's not like they have to start replumbing everything.
No, that's right.
Okay, all right, because that's going to be a big...
Yeah, oh no, that's not something we would expect to be. I mean, we made these changes where I think, it'll be a discussion for council at the end of the day, but we certainly expect to come up with a plan to fund that and get that turned over and then have everybody on the same playing field. These folks right now are benefiting from not having that set up right now, so it's something we'll look at. Yeah.
Okay, all right, do we have any questions? No questions, all right, so Ms. Parker. I was going to go. Could tell I was on vacation. When will this be brought to council?
Next week.
Next week. Okay. So the council really think about it. If you have any questions or anything, this is coming next week to our regular public meeting. So send an email to Mr. Abernathy or whatnot if something comes to mind, because it will be brought next week for us to pass the resolution. Oh, Deputy Mayor Willett.
So have all these people been notified?
No, you're the first to be notified. I've drafted a letter that'll be sent out eventually to everybody, let them know. But no, they haven't been notified yet.
So they're not going to be notified before we pass this?
This is a public hearing, right? I mean,
yeah.
If you'd like us to send out something to all those people, I mean,
I would prefer something was sent to all these owners. So if you're going to stir the beehive, do it before we pass it. So.
What's the procedure normally, Mr. Pettigrew?
Well, normally you would, because council makes a decision. If council doesn't approve the bylaw, then they're going to have notices saying it's changing and it's not changing. You could say it's being reviewed or looked at or discussed.
Yeah.
But that's what tonight's meeting was, to advise the people that it was being discussed.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, we can discuss with communications
and
and
proposed change or something at some point, but it can't be that it's happening, because ultimately we can't. It's not up for staff to make that, administration to make that decision. It's council decides to pass the bylaw.
And we haven't passed the resolution, we haven't voted it in, so we can't say it's happening.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we can say that it's being looked at. I mean, we can have discussions with communications officer. Yeah, go.
Okay. Councillor Hondas.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Do we have an idea of how many people are going to be affected by this?
We do have a list. I don't have the exact number. I think it's in the 20 to 25 property range. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. And Ms. Scott, that's what, Councillor Scott, that's what going to be your questions? All right. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Abernathy.
My pleasure.
On s'en va au comité d'évaluation du soutien communautaire, suivi des demandes de dons et de commandites de janvier à mai 2026. So, 2026 January to May donation and sponsorships request follow-up. Ms. Parker.
So if you'll recall, the last committee of the whole, we had gone over all the requests we had received, and we went through the recommendations from the committee. There was two requests that we received that we wanted to go back and get some more information. Unfortunately, the Legion did not get back to me. I sent an email, I sent some follow-ups, didn't hear back. Chaleur Music Festival, however, did get back to me. I included some of the supporting documents in your package that was sent for tonight. Basically, they have the funding, they're good, but if it continues the way it's going, because they had added extra days to their event, and unfortunately, they didn't receive as many donations as they had gotten in years previous, so the way that it works is in order to attend the event, it's kind of a donation of your choice. They did see a difference of about $2,500. Their ask from us was $4,500. Like I said, they are still within their numbers. They need to have enough money from year to year in order to keep supporting the event. Of course, anything will help at this point, but all the breakdown of the funds are in your package.
So we've already, because the event has already passed,
Yes.
but we had not given them any money.
Yes, correct.
Okay. So are they hoping to still have the $2,500 to help them for this year, to move forward next year?
They were asking for 45,
Okay.
and yes,
Okay.
they would.
So there is a $2,500 request there.
45.
45, okay. Well, the 45 with 25 would keep them afloat.
That was the difference from this year and last year.
Okay. So I'm going to the table to council to see what your recommendations are, because if so, that will be brought to a resolution next week. Councillor Burnett?
Thanks, Madam Mayor. What do we have left in that budget?
So we have 60,774 in the discretionary and 7,619 left in tourism.
The 4,500, okay. Deputy Mayor Willett?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I also agree with the 4,500.
4,500, okay. Councillor Burnett, you wanted to mention something else as well? No? Okay. You're trying to shut it off and I was putting you back on. All right. So I'm actually going to try to get a bit of feel around the table. Councillor Scarry?
I would go in favor of the $4,500.
Okay. Councillor Hondas?
Have we discussed any amount to give them, if we were going to give them?
They were short 25. Well, they weren't short, but like 25 was the difference. 45 was the request.
Okay.
The 2,500 was the difference of where they were short, which if we did 45 would be 2,000 above the difference.
Okay, cool.
When the committee discussed, because the event had already passed, it wasn't discussed like what number you wanted to give. It's when it came to council, council had asked that we go back and ask the question.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
So Councillor Hondas?
Yeah, I'll support this, yeah, 4,500 to break even, and then look at it again next year.
Okay. Councillor Scott?
I'm in favor of supporting. So just to clarify though, I want to make sure that we're all talking the same numbers since you said 45 to break even. Their difference was 25 and they're requesting 45, so there'd be a $2,000 additional. Did they give any information on what they planned on doing with the additional 2,000?
That's what they had budgeted when they made the original request, based off of the numbers they had, how long the event was, what they had to pay out, because they have to cover the hotels, they have to cover the judge fee, like there was a lot into it. Like the breakdowns in the package, I can't give you the exact.
Yeah, okay, so I had looked at that. So for me, where they were actually only a difference of 25, I would recommend doing the 2,500 instead of the 4,500 because we would be giving them 2,000 more than what they actually needed at that point. So my recommendation would be the 2,500.
Okay. Councillor Boudreau.
I would support the 4,500.
4,500? Okay. So it seems like 4,500 is the number? Okay. Okay, so it'll be brought next week. Okay. Yep, go right ahead, Ms.
And for the Legion, until we receive a response, you just want to leave it? Perfect.
Okay. So there's not, because when it's committee of the whole, we don't usually have a mayor's report, but because this week is Hospitality Days week, I figured I'd give a little bit of update. Donc, quand on a nos réunions plénières, on n'a pas vraiment un rapport de la mairesse, mais vu que c'est la semaine de journée d'hospitalité, je voulais vous parler de plusieurs événements qui vont avoir lieu. Fait, il y a le petit livret, so we have this little booklet that has all the events happening during Hospitality Days. They're at Casey Irving and they're also at downtown Imperial. So if you're looking for one of the events, it starts tomorrow. Donc, il y a le petit livret avec toutes les activités de Hospitality Days. Ils les ont au Casey Irving et puis dans le centre-ville Imperial sur la rue Main. Vous allez voir qu'il y a plein d'activités. Et qu'est-ce qui est très important, les feux d'artifice sont mercredi soir. So the fireworks are Wednesday evening of this week. So in 2 days is the fireworks. If it rains, they do have time for rain or shine and be able to switch the date, but it's planned for this Wednesday. Donc, s'il pleut, si la mauvaise température, ils pourront repousser la date, mais c'est planifié pour mercredi. So, as well, there will be all kinds of music at the waterfront this summer. On va avoir de la musique cet été au waterfront, comme qu'on a à chaque année de 6h30 à 8h30, donc 6:30 to 8:30. And the art gallery at the waterfront is open from Wednesday to Sunday from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m., which helps having summer students. Donc, la galerie d'art au waterfront est ouverte du mercredi au dimanche de 11h à 16h avec l'aide des étudiants. And if you look at certain activities that they're having, you know, there's art classes with Candace Otreski, senior event curling club, Bowlerama bowling, beach volleyball, movie night for the kids, touch a truck, Squire Green Golf and Country tournament, Aqua Center Family Swim. There's so many different activities, and especially Thursday evening with the downtown. And then I think Saturday it's going to be the car show. There's a dog show. There's so many. There's the market at the Santa Ana Rec Center this Saturday. There's so much happening downtown. So please take advantage of it, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful week. Donc, en fin de semaine, il va y avoir beaucoup d'activités, surtout samedi, dans le centre-ville avec toutes les voitures. Il va y avoir un spectacle avec les animaux, les chiens, au Parc Coronation. Il va y avoir le marché de puces sur la Sainte-Anne, au Sainte-Anne Recreational Center. J'espère vraiment que vous allez avoir beaucoup de plaisir et tout en sécurité pendant la semaine de hospitalité. So, thank you everybody, and we'll go to the adjournment of the meeting. Merci beaucoup d'être avec nous ce soir.